So y'all remember Ne-Yo, right? The smooth R&B singer who's given us hits like So Sick and Miss Independent? Well, his ex-wife Crystal just dropped a bombshell that's got everyone talking. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. But before we get into Crystal's tea, we need to rewind a bit. Remember when Dainty Kane singer Dawn Richard recently came out with that shocking lawsuit against Diddy? Well, in a twist that nobody saw coming, Dawn actually named Ne-Yo as one of the people who allegedly sat by and watched Diddy mistreat people without doing anything about it. Yikes. Now, here's where it gets even juicier. Crystal, Ne-Yo's ex-wife, is not only backing Dawn's claims, but she's also spilling some major tea of her own. She's saying that Ne-Yo allegedly did some pretty shady and nasty things to her when they were married, and get this, she thinks he might have learned it from Diddy. I mean, talk about a plot twist. Let's break this down, shall we? We already knew that Ne-Yo wasn't exactly husband of the year material. Their marriage had been on the rocks for a long time because of alleged mistreatment from Ne-Yo. But the final straw? An outside baby, y'all. That's right, Ne-Yo allegedly fathered a child with an exotic dancer in Atlanta while still married to Crystal. This tea first came to light through a blind item. An anonymous source spilled that this iconic R&B singer who reconciled with his wife during quarantine had welcomed a baby with a dancer around the same time his wife gave birth to their third child. The source even pointed out how Ne-Yo was on talk shows discussing his reconciliation with Crystal while all this was going down. Talk about living a double life. Crystal, understandably devastated, took to social media to share her pain. She wrote, and I quote, 8 years of lies and deception. 8 years of unknowingly sharing my life and my husband with numerous women who sell their bodies to him unprotected. To say I'm heartbroken and disgusted is an understatement. She even asked people to stop sending her evidence of Ne-Yo's cheating because it was no longer her concern. Now that's what I call taking the high road. But y'all, Ne-Yo's response to all this? He had the audacity to like Crystal's statement, calling him out. I mean, who does that? It's like he was proud of the mess he created. He then released his own statement on Twitter, asking for privacy and saying they'd work through their challenges behind closed doors. A little late for that, don't you think?
And as a human being, I make mistakes. As a human being, I am selfish. As a human being, I have desires, and you know what I'm saying? I wasn't always being the kind of husband that you're supposed to be. That's just is what that is. You know, I've cheated, I've done things that husbands ain't supposed to do. And that's what eventually led to us talking about divorce.
Wow. And then getting to the point where you're renewing your vows.
Yes.
Crystal wasn't having any of it, though. She spoke to TMZ and laid it all out there.
Crystal, what are the chances you and Ne-Yo can work it out here?
There are no chances.
No chances?
God is good.
None at all?
No,
Did
we're moving on to better lives.
Did he just like go to a point where there's no coming back?
Certain things can't be forgiven, but God will forgive.
But wait, it gets worse. Ne-Yo, apparently not content with just allegedly cheating and mistreating Crystal, decided to take her to court to get a gag order. That's right, he tried to legally prevent her from speaking about their marriage and divorce. According to court documents, Ne-Yo claimed Crystal's Instagram post accusing him of being a narcissist had caused him to lose about $400,000 in wages from public appearances and bookings. Poor baby, right? But here's the kicker. He also refused to pay her alimony, even though he had forced her to be a stay-at-home mom to take care of their kids. The audacity of this man. Now, prenups and gag orders are kind of standard in celebrity divorces, but going as far as to get a court-ordered gag? That raised some eyebrows. We all knew there had to be more to the story than just the cheating, and boy, were we right. According to the whispers on the street, the real reason behind the divorce and all the secrecy might have been because of DV. That's right, besties, domestic violence. Now, if this is true, we need to send all our love and support to Crystal for escaping such a toxic situation, but you might be wondering, why is Crystal coming out with her story now? Well, it all ties back to that lawsuit Dawn Richard filed against Diddy. In her suit, Dawn exposed some seriously nasty stuff about Diddy and how he treats women. She even backed up Lil Rod's claims about Diddy having young girls partying in the studio and using some not-so-legal substances while recording. According to Dawn's lawsuit, Diddy would hold parties where he'd invite young men and women, often scantily dressed and appearing underage, to use drugs and engage in in inappropriate acts. She claims she saw Diddy and his colleagues groping and inappropriately touching these young women. It's absolutely horrifying, but it gets worse. Dawn alleges that when she tried to stand up for herself, Diddy punished her by locking her in an unheated car in the dead of winter. Can you imagine how terrifying that must have been? She described feeling sheer panic and terror, fearing for her life as she sat trapped in the dark, cold car. Dawn also claimed that Diddy subjected the Dainty Kane girls to inhumane treatment, forcing them to rehearse for up to 48 hours without breaks. She says Diddy would often be awake for prolonged periods, high on drugs, demanding constant access to the girls and making them work ridiculous hours. But the part that's got everyone talking, Dawn alleges that many people, including Ne-Yo, witnessed Diddy's abusive behavior and did nothing. It's giving Major Cassie vibes, reminding us of how she claimed multiple people in the industry knew what was going on but never tried to help her. Speaking of Cassie, Dawn dropped another bombshell. She claims that Diddy once punched Cassie in front of Ne-Yo at a dinner party, but Ne-Yo just ignored it and kept eating. The court documents describe a dinner at a West Hollywood restaurant where Diddy and Cassie got into an argument. Diddy allegedly hissed at Miss Ventura in a screaming whisper and forcibly punched her in the stomach, causing her to double over in visible pain, crying. And Ne-Yo, along with other celebrities like Usher, just sat there and continued socializing. I mean, what kind of casual DV is this? Now, some people speculated that maybe Ne-Yo was scared of Diddy and that's why he didn't speak up. But according to an insider, Crystal isn't buying that excuse. She believes the reason Ne-Yo didn't say or do anything is that he didn't see it as a big deal because he allegedly also puts hands on women and gets away with it. Crystal sees this as a classic case of birds of a feather flocking together, and apparently, she can't wait for Ne-Yo to be outed as well. Fans have been all over this, leaving comments like, F Usher and Ne-Yo too for not doing Diddy hurt Cassie in front of them. Cowards. Another said, Usher and Ne-Yo sat there and watched Diddy punch Cassie and did nothing. Sick individuals. And let's not forget, I like how the internet is ignoring the fact that Usher was name-dropped in the Diddy lawsuit. Him and Ne-Yo sat right there and ate their food while Diddy beat the ish out of Cassie. Crazy. Y'all, this whole situation is messier than a toddler eating spaghetti. We've got Ne-Yo allegedly mistreating his wife, having outside babies, and then trying to silence her with gag orders. We've got Diddy allegedly abusing women left and right, with other celebrities just standing by and watching. And now we've got Crystal coming forward, not only to support Dawn's claims, but to hint at her own experiences of abuse. It's a stark reminder that what we see on social media or in music videos is often just a carefully crafted image. Behind the scenes, there can be so much pain, abuse, and toxicity. And it's not just the main perpetrators who are the problem, it's also those who stand by and do nothing, enabling the abuse to continue. This whole situation raises so many questions. How many other women in the music industry have similar stories that they're afraid to tell? How many other celebrities have witnessed abuse and said nothing? And most importantly, how can we create a culture where this kind of behavior is not tolerated, where victims feel safe coming forward, and where bystanders feel empowered to speak up? It's clear that there's still a long way to go in terms of addressing abuse and toxicity in the entertainment industry, but with brave women like Crystal, Dawn, and Cassie coming forward to share their stories, we're hopefully moving in the right direction. Their courage in speaking out is shining a light on these issues and forcing us all to confront some uncomfortable truths. As for Ne-Yo, Diddy, and anyone else who's been accused of abuse or of enabling it, the court of public opinion is in session and it's not looking good for them. It's time for some serious accountability, and I, for one, am here for it. But what do you think, besties? Do you believe Crystal's claims about Ne-Yo? What about Dawn's allegations against Diddy? And what do you make of Ne-Yo and Usher allegedly witnessing Diddy's abuse and doing nothing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I am dying to hear what you all think about this mess. Remember, it's important to approach these situations with empathy for the victims and a commitment to truth and justice. We might enjoy the tea, but at the end of the day, these are real people dealing with real trauma. Let's hope that by bringing these issues to light, we can work towards creating a safer, more respectful entertainment industry for everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest tea. And if you or someone you know is dealing with domestic violence, remember there are resources and people out there ready to help. Stay safe, stay informed, and most importantly, stay fabulous. Until next time, this is Hot Gossip signing off. Goodbye. Sign